Today we're talking about how to take a formal document and add highlights to it in a way that enhances the appearance for the sake of a presentation, whether that presentation is in like a filmmaking setting, like a documentary, or to a corporate board, or in the courtroom to a jury. We're going to take, in this case, my resume, and we're going to take this, where there's a lot of information, and we're going to draw the attention of our audience to certain narrow parts of it by creating sort of these faded highlights. Obviously, you would never show this as a resume, but if you were in court or in a presentation and you were trying to draw attention perhaps to a portion of a transcript or something like that, this is a really effective tool that allows you to draw your audience's attention to the key parts of what you want to show them without really hiding anything from them, because they can still look for themselves and see the full context. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to download the program that we're working with. In this case, we're working with a program called GIMP. This is an open source, free, essentially a Photoshop alternative. I've used it for a few years. It's a great program. It does pretty much everything I need it to do. And even though I have Photoshop now, I tend to use GIMP. Anyway, I already have it on my computer, but I'll show you how to download in case you don't. So open up whatever internet browser you prefer. I use Google Chrome. And we're going to just go to gimp.org, gimp.org. You can also just Google search the word GIMP, and this will be the first result. But here it is, GIMP, GNU Image Manipulation Program. There's a good chance I mispronounced GNU, but you know, it is what it is. You'll go to download and download whatever version is appropriate for your operating system. As you can see, the website has guessed that my operating system is OS X. It has guessed correctly, and I can just click right here, download GIMP, whatever version, directly. If it's wrong, you can click to go to Microsoft Windows or Linux or OS X if it's wrong. Download it, install it, and open it up on your computer. In this case, mine stays right down here. That's where I keep mine. So we'll click open. It'll bounce a few times, and eventually it'll come up. Okay, so this is the main screen of the software, and we're going to be working with my resume, and we're using the resume for a couple reasons. The first is because there's nothing really private on there, so I'm not worried about really showing anything. Worst case scenario, you see it and you decide to give me a job. Mainly because it's in a PDF form, and when we're talking about most sort of documents that we might want to highlight, a lot of times they're going to be coming in a PDF form from Word or something like that. If you have a document that's in Word and you want to do this with it, you can always save it as a PDF and then open it. The process is a little bit different if you have a standard image file like a PNG or a JPEG, but we're going to be working with PDFs today, which are the more complex of the process. So we're going to open up this file. There's a few ways you can do it. On my computer, since I've used GIMP before, I can right-click open with an opening GIMP. Alternatively, I could take it and I can drag and drop it into the box and it'll open it. But the tried and true way is just to go to GIMP, File, Open, go to your desktop, and there you go, open it up. Now, because it's a PDF, it's going to give us the opportunity to import it from a PDF. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to click here to select that one page, and we're going to change the resolution to 600 pixels per inch. I'm choosing that number because I want this to be a very high resolution. I'm not concerned about how large the file is, and I don't want to worry about editing it to the point that the resolution starts to degrade the quality. So I choose a high resolution. You can hit your enter bar so that it updates your height and width on the pixels, and then click import. Okay, so here we have the document, and we can drag and open to make it a little bit larger. So here's the resume, and you can see that because it's such a large image, I'm zoomed out pretty far. I can adjust that zoom, in as far as I'd like to. 800% is where it is. Certainly don't need that. 25% is going to be plenty. and we'll pick something to highlight. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to adjust our fill color. We want to make sure that this is black right here, the foreground and background colors. If for some reason it isn't, perhaps you used another, you used the software before and the color's different, so it's a red or whatever, you can click this smaller version right here and it'll reset it to white and black, okay? First thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new layer. Doesn't really matter what you call it, we'll call it background. And layer fill type should be foreground color, right? This is the foreground color, this is the background color. Foreground color is what we want. The way that GIMP works on the layer side of things is the layer that is higher up in the list will always appear above the layer below the list. In this case, since background is higher than resume, it'll appear above the resume, and since they're the same size and it's a solid black, the entire screen turns black. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the opacity, which is how transparent it is, from 100% to 50%. And that's going to give it sort of that grayed out look that we're looking for. You can adjust this to your taste to see if you want it to be more grayed out or less grayed out. For me, 50% is a solid number. Likewise, if you needed to use a different color, you would just change your foreground color to a different color. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to select the area of the page which we'd like to highlight. There's three ways to select. The first one is to use this rectangle tool here, which just sort of looks like this. The second way is to use the ellipses tool, which is for circles and ovals and such, ellipses. The third option is to do a free select tool, which sort of works like this. This allows you to select odd shapes and shapes at an angle. In our case, everything is perfectly horizontal. Everything's 90 degrees. Nothing's a weird shape, so we don't need to worry about using a free select. So we're just going to use the standard rectangle select. Let's select the American Association for Justice Trial Team. That selects it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Select, Feather, and we're going to do 50 pixels. Why 50 pixels? Because I've tried it a lot, and 50 pixels at 600 pixels per inch, in my opinion, is the best fade. But you choose whatever you like. We're going to click OK. And this is going to be what gives the fade between the black, the gray, to the standard white. Edit, cut, and boom, just like that. We can go to select none and see how it looks. You can see now it's highlighted. Let's do the free select. Select. Whoop, not sharpen. Undo sharpen selection. Select feather. Again, you can go to edit and cut, or you can do, in my case, Command X, just the cut key. And then let's do reset the first business. Select feather 50% or 50 pixels. Edit, cut. So once we're happy with how everything looks, we can go over here to File, and we can either overwrite it directly as the PDF or do an export as. So we'll do an export as highlighted. Tell to export. This might take a few minutes depending upon the quality of your computer. Mine should be relatively quick. Once it's done, we can exit the program. You can save changes if you like. I don't need to. And here we go. And that's how you create the highlight.